Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first of our refreshed PageSuite quarterly product roadmap webinars. We're pleased to see you all here. This first session, we're going to be focusing on our native mobile app. I'm Charlotte Parker, Director of Client Success here at PageSuite, and I'm joined by Simon Fry, our Chief Product Officer, and Ryan Parrott, our Mobile Development Lead. Today, we're going to be diving into some of the strategic insights that we've been observing across the industry for the last quarter. Then we're going to be talking about how we're taking these strategic insights and turning them into real features within our mobile product. Firstly, though, some quick housekeeping for today's session. Just a quick reminder that before we get started, this webinar is being recorded and we'll share a link with you afterwards so that you can rewatch it or share it with your colleagues. Throughout this session, please feel free to use the live chat feature to ask us questions. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can during the Q&A at the end, but if we don't get to your question today, don't worry, we'll follow up with you afterwards. We also have someone monitoring our live chat, so if you experience any technical issues, please feel free to post them in there. In some cases, questions will be answered directly in the chat, so do keep an eye on that while the webinar is still ongoing. So without further ado, let's get started. If I could have the next slide, please. So it's been a super busy quarter here at PageSuite, and our teams have been attending lots of industry events and having lots of deep conversations with our clients. And the message is really clear across the industry. Engagement really is the new battleground for retaining readers and building reader revenue. At the opening session of the PPA Festival this year, and a deep dive was included into the Enders analysis report, which showed that in a fast-changing acquisition environment, growth is going to come from direct audience relationships via owned channels, not from chasing reach across multiple platforms. It's clearer than ever that mobile apps are the most important channel for driving engagement and habitual behavior with subscribers. As we move into the next phase of this engagement battleground, PageSuite's product evolution is going to focus on some key strategic areas. So firstly, personalization. This has gone beyond being a nice to have within a mobile app and has become a real expectation. Consumers fully expect to have curated content delivered to them in a way that's meaningful consistently. In the age of subscription fatigue, they want to be able to find the content that they care about most quickly. They expect user-friendly interfaces that allow them to jump back into content that they were previously looking at, find related content, and to be able to absorb that content quickly at a time that suits them best. Audio. So this has moved just beyond just a podcast and is now, again, an expectations of readers who want to deeply engage with audio experiences across everything that they consume online. In today's fast-paced world, readers don't have the time to sit and read anymore. They want to be able to consume content without having to sit still to do so. At the gym, on the commute, on the school run, all of the above are becoming new environments to engage with users. The home screen as a channel. Push notifications are becoming more and more prevalent across the industry and are a fantastic way of highlighting your very best content and bringing users back to your app over and over again to drive that habitual behavior. Home screen widgets are another great way of reminding your customers that you're there and inviting them back via one click to dive straight back into your content. Video. At the IMA Subscription Summit in Toronto this year, we saw some fantastic presentations from The Athletic on how they're exploring different types of video to engage with different users within their audiences. They're actively investing in video production across all of their teams and encouraging their journalists to produce more and more video to share with their readers. It's becoming clear that video is not just for social and that publishers are investing in serving up content in video formats. Those are the ones that are really succeeding in driving engagement and reader revenue. Lastly, commenting and community. In order to truly build community within digital products, the conversation needs to be both ways. By activating commenting across your mobile apps, you're giving the most engaged readers a chance to deeply engage with your brand, voice their opinion, and essentially feel part of the story. Now I'm going to hand over to Simon and Ryan to talk you through how we've taken these strategic initiatives and delivered features in our mobile apps to support our clients. Over to you guys.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit, an overview of kind of what we've done so far and then what's coming next. So along the themes that Charlotte was talking about in the industry behavior that we're seeing. So personalization, we're going to talk about a new U tab, which is an extension of the My Content area we had in the app. and then coming later, follow authors and some AI topic summaries. Continuity, so reading history recently viewed, showing you what you missed in the edition or the app. Audio, as Charlotte was saying, really, really important for publishers now. So we're reworking the UI of a audio player, including some new features like variable speed, habit and return, and video, vertical video, and then in the future, picture-in-picture through native SDK. So we'll talk a bit about these in more detail as we go through the webinar. So what have we shipped? So firstly, the U tab. So we've migrated the My Content area, which was essentially just bookmarks and saved editions, and created a more personalized area to hold all of that kind of content that people really want to see and have actively told us they want to see. So Ryan's going to talk us a little bit more about how this feature works.
Yeah, so on previously we had the personalization that the user could select their topics on the screenshot on the left-hand side, and it would customize the news tab. We've now moved this over to the My Content tab, so users can build a personalized feed within the My Content tab here. This now gives the user control of what they can see, the topics that they're interested in the My Content part, leaving the control up to the publisher for the news tab.
And that feed isn't just articles, right, Ryan? We're including things in there like latest editions and puzzles as well.
Yeah, so we've now got latest editions as a widget coming through here, and we've also got the puzzles coming through as well. So we've got a whole variety of content that's been used throughout the app coming through on the My Content tab.
Great.
So yeah, one question I had with that is if the news tab was previously personalized, what happens with that now if we're moving over that personalized content into the U tab?
Yeah, so this was previously controlled using the personalization on the screenshot there on the follow topics. So the idea is that the publisher controls what users see on the news tab, and the user controls the My Content part.
I think that's really important. We had a lot of conversations with publishers around that kind of topic, where they wanted to ensure that any new topics that they added to the app, or really important topics around breaking news, were there for all users. And so by enabling them to control the news tab and moving the personalization over to this new U area, I think we solved that problem for some of those publishers.
And I guess then having it curatable leads into analytics as well, right? And what publishers are seeing as being the most important subjects from their analytics.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, great.
So kind of an extension of this area is reading history and recently viewed. So I'll let Ryan talk about this one as well.
Yeah, so throughout the app, if you're now viewing content such as articles, editions, crosswords, this now comes into the history tab here. So you could start a crosswords or another puzzle, come back to it in the history tab, and it will save your progress. You can jump straight back in. It's also got a kind of a history part here. So it's taken into account how many articles that you viewed, how many editions, and it's also building up a streak of how many days that you've used the app. It's going to keep users engaged, give them the kind of motivation to keep using the application here.
Right. So there's some kind of gamification features almost that we're adding into the app here.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question on this in terms of puzzles. So obviously users can jump straight back into the articles that they were reading. What happens with puzzles if they're mid-flight through something in this view?
Yep, so they can start a puzzle halfway through, come back to it at a later time, and this will then save their progress here.
Great.
Okay. So next up, we've got changes that we've made to the audio player. So the audio player works in the app to play both text-to-speech for the articles and also podcasts. As those of you know who've got this feature already, you can line up a queue of audio, whether that's articles or podcasts, and play that audio queue. we made some UI changes and some functional changes as well that Ryan's going to talk about now.
Yeah, the big change here is the UI update. It's kind of bring more in line with iOS 26 with the Glass UI. We've now also added in the ability to have variable speeds, so you can adjust the playback speed of your audio whilst you're listening.
Okay, and then the audio prompts inside the player, not over. So this is, I think, something that was potentially confusing to users in the past, where they'd started audio and it was stored, or the save state was stored, and when they went to play another audio file, it launched into queue. So now it's going to close off the audio player when you shut down, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can now add the items to the queue, or you can instantly start playing a new audio clip.
Great.
So we get lots of feedback from the industry and from our clients about TTS, native kind of TTS out the box. So what options are there available for publishers who don't want the mechanical out of the box TTS speech?
Yeah, so by default, we use the voice that's available on the device. We have got an integration with Amazon Polly, so that can give you a bit more of a, I can't remember what they call that exactly, but it's a slightly more nuanced voice, so less robotic. But we're also open to work with third-party voice providers. So I know that there's a bunch of providers out there that can either do journalist voice recordings or just some more human-sounding voice recordings. The way the audio player is built, we can consume the audio files from any provider. So we're definitely open to work with people to try and make that experience a bit less robotic.
Great. I think that's going to be a real benefit to lots of our publishers. Okay, so home screen widgets. So I know some people use this a lot and some people don't use them at all. But I think it's a really good feature for us to have that works both across the edition and the live newsfeed. So whichever kind of mobile app you've got with PageSuite, you can take advantage of having a home screen widget, different sizes, different experiences. Ryan, talk us a bit more about this one.
Yeah, so we've got two options here of having either the edition come through onto your home screen or the top stories. So you can have, in this case here, 4 stories come through. We take the 4 latest stories so users can jump straight back in. There are multiple sizes of widgets here, so we can have more stories or less stories on this. The idea is that so a user can jump straight into the app here, see what's going on, and start consuming content.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to see the front page of the paper on the home screen of your device as well.
So I think home screen widgets are quite new for a lot of publishers. I'm not sure if there are many exploring this so far. Obviously, we want to be able to measure engagement and what impact those are having. Is there a way to measure opens and clicks from home screen widgets into the PageSuite apps?
Yeah, so what we've done here is we've now added in a source property into our analytics system. So publishers can see where users are reading their content from, whether that be from home screen widgets, from the For You page, or even push notifications. So you can see what technique is working to get users into the application.
Great.
Okay. Another really strong engagement feature, I know that's taken a lot of time talked about in the industry, is puzzles. Obviously, the New York Times being the best example of someone who's doing an enormous amount with puzzles and seeing great stats in terms of both engagement and also habit. Those daily puzzles like Wordle and Connections, bringing people back on a daily basis, and then also spending time reading the paper. We've extended the number of puzzle providers that we integrate within the app. So we've included Puzzmo now alongside Puzzler and Arcadium. The puzzles will load in the app either through a web view, or if a puzzle provider can send us the right file type, then we can make these work offline as well. And as Ryan was showing earlier, you can bookmark these, you can save a state and go back and play them again once you get halfway through.
So I've been talking to lots of clients about puzzles and engagement, and it's obvious that this is driving a ton of engagement for lots and lots of our clients. The bit that's interesting us a bit more is around the commercialization. So are there options, Simon, and maybe you could talk us through this for commercialization of puzzles, given that they're getting such massive engagement across our products?
Yeah, so we support digital advertising within the mobile app across all the different areas, articles, editions, and puzzles. So you can serve digital advertising alongside the interactive puzzle. Some puzzle providers, I think Arcadium are an example of this, actually serve pre-roll advertising ahead of the puzzle being played. So there's either a revenue or revenue share opportunity there with some of those puzzle providers. And then the other thing, of course, is that because the app is completely modular and we can support different paywall integrations across the application and across areas of the application, we can make the puzzles a subscriber-only benefit so that you can drive subscriptions by pushing users towards your puzzles.
I think that's super interesting for anyone looking at an app as being their premium subscription product, that you could gate off certain parts of that depending on entitlement. It's interesting. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, another one that's talked about a lot in the industry, vertical video. Ryan, talk us through how the vertical video integration works.
Yeah, so we've got the option to add the vertical video carousels into the application here. So the idea is that you've got a carousel of the content. You can then tap into this and have a kind of a scroll view here, similar to other short form content, scrolling through the videos and also having the ability to click through into the article to kind of get more engagement from this. We've got in this video here, there's 2 sets of carousels there. So the idea is that publishers could have a full list of different carousels from different categories from their video feeds.
And they can place that within the feed in the news feeds area of the app, right? Yeah,
so it can go anywhere in the news feed there. And then this can also show up from the My Content page as well, such as the history page, for example.
Great. Okay, so that's what we've done up till now in 2026. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming next. So firstly, following authors. So an extension of that personalization and the ability to follow topics and follow your reading history. So we're going to introduce following authors. So you can follow your favorite writers and get notifications whenever they add a new article to the application. The other thing is an extension of the integration that we've got with push providers now to support a message center. So a lot of push providers can provide this message center. So it almost works like an email inbox within your application. So previous push notifications that you maybe have missed can land within that message center. It allows you to go back and view through the day's alerts that you might have missed or dismissed because they landed on your home screen. And we all get a lot of notifications. And then a couple more things that we're looking to add in Q3 this year. So widget cards in the news feed. So we're taking the work that we've done to include home screen widgets on the app home screen or the device home screen and add those to the news feed view. So you can see within the news feed the latest edition, breaking news, video and audio as well. And that will drive engagement from that newsfeed into other areas of the app. The other thing is to develop more work around the native video SDKs that we support so that we can do things like picture-in-picture, enabling downloads and AirPlay and Chromecast support. So these are the things that we're looking at in terms of doing in the next quarter this year. Okay. So we're going to go over to questions.
And there's a ton in here for sure already. So let's get through a couple of these. I'll find a good one to start with. Okay, so one on gamification, which again is something that we're talking to our clients a lot about at the moment and how we execute that. So are there any plans to extend the gamification features, for example, to offer rewards, access for streaks, etc.?
I think that's probably something we'd have to look at on a client by client basis in terms of what they wanted to offer for those kind of rewards or access, or how that affects their kind of subscriptions and paywall. So yes, we could definitely do that. We'd need to work on how to pass that data back to a client and then work with them on the rewards that they wanted to offer.
Great. So if you're a client watching this and interested in more of the gamification, do reach out to us and speak to your CSM, and we can help you to get some product features developed from our side. Brilliant. Okay, the next one is on TTS. So publisher asking, we already use a TTS service on our website. Can we use the same service in the app to keep the audio player experience consistent across our web properties?
So we can definitely take the files from an existing audio service that anyone might be using. So if that audio service can provide us files or a feed of files for the audio tagged to the articles, then we can do that. The player that exists within the app is the player that we've developed, and it works across both the text-to-speech audio and the podcast audio. So we want to keep that player experience consistent, but definitely with the files and the voices. If you've got any of those third-party services doing that, then we can do that.
Great, thank you. Another one related to audio here. So video and audio are both on the roadmap. Is PageSuite building these natively, or is it more about integrations with tools that publishers already use? I think you've probably answered some of that question already, Simon, but I'm not sure if you want to dive a bit more into the video side of that. So is it more about integration with tools that publishers already use, or are we building them natively?
Ryan, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of both, really. So the majority of the time we are building these natively, but we do have the option to integrate with other tools that publishers have been using, especially for video content, the video that gets served to us. We can integrate with these tools, which we've done before.
Yeah, you do have integrations with things like YouTube, where if you give us a YouTube channel ID, we can present that YouTube channel with it natively within the app. So yeah, if you're already sending content to those channels for video, then we could support displaying that content within the app as well.
Yeah, we're always exploring different integrations with video solutions as well, aren't we? So probably more to come in terms of those integrations too. Brilliant. Question about comments. So mention commenting on the roadmap. What integrations have you done here?
So go on, Ryan, you take this one.
Yeah, so I was going to say that we've integrated Viafora into the application here. I think that they were on those screenshots there already. We've also got Coral commenting as well, part of the SDK. We are open to more integrations if there's a comment provider that we haven't mentioned so far.
I think from my side, in terms of those client conversations, it's generally those two that are used, isn't it? I think we've got quite good coverage with those as it stands. The next question actually around comments and how they're moderated, so I can take that. So in terms of that integration, the moderation would be happening then through your portal for your chosen comments provider. And the way that we do this across our apps is that it's like a common login between web and app. So the comments that appear on your website would then also appear in the app environment as well. Is that correct, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right. And also you can send a flag in the article, I think, if you want comments disabled for specific articles, which you might do for things that are relating to crime or ongoing court cases, that kind of thing.
Great. So again, one about analytics here. So how can you track how home screen widgets are driving users to the app? I think we did cover this a little bit in that section, but if you guys could expand on that at all.
Yeah, so it's basically all derived from the source property on how users are accessing articles or accessing the application. I think I mentioned with articles, but we've also got that for digital editions as well. So you can see how the user's accessing the digital edition from there.
Great. I guess that would be prevalent for any clients who have just got the edition rather than edition and live news across our web as well. Okay, cool. What are the requirements for vertical video and what formats do you support?
So we need videos to be hosted somewhere, whether that be a direct link as an MP4 that you're given to us in the feed, or using a video provider such as Vimeo, Brightcove. If we haven't already integrated with the video provider already, I'm sure that we could be open to looking at integrating with a certain video provider. It all depends on how you're currently already hosting your videos.
Yeah, I think we've got good coverage with a lot of the major video suppliers already. But if you do use a video supplier that we haven't worked with previously, then we're open to talking about that kind of SDK integration and making sure we can support that as well.
I know our goal outside of just video is to be agnostic to third-party integrations, and we do try to kind of have a broader net as possible with that and work with publishing groups regardless of which solutions they're using elsewhere. So yeah, I think that would be the answer across any kind of integrations. Just ask us and we can discuss whether that's in there already or if it's something that we could scope out for you.
Yeah. And one of the great things about the PageSuite app platform is the flexibility of it and our ability to be able to include or not include different SDKs for different clients. So that's part of who we are.
Great. And the last one, which I love, which is about young audiences and more about strategy. So I mentioned at the top that we've attended lots of industry events in this first quarter of the year. And one of the biggest subjects we found is about young audiences and how we're engaging with younger readers using our mobile app. So the question is, are there features on the roadmap that are specifically designed with a younger reader in mind, or is that more about the overall experience?
I mean, I think it's probably a little bit both. I was at the IMMA conference in Berlin. There was a lot of conversation about young audiences there and making sure that you provide content in the way that those people want to consume it. It's not that they don't want to read the news or listen to the news, just meeting them on the platforms where they are already. So with vertical video and with audio, but also supporting that kind of behavior when they come to your owned and operated channels. So when those users come back to your app, they want the same kind of experience that they get elsewhere on social media or other apps. And so those features that we're building in, like vertical video and improving our audio player and making sure that the way that those features behave in our app is the same way that they're used to behaving on other applications that people might use. I think that's really strong in terms of matching that behavior. But also I think it's important that when we build out those features, we're not just thinking about them for younger audiences. It's not just young people who watch vertical video or who listen to podcasts. So if you do those features well, then it's a benefit for everyone.
Great. I've just had a bunch more questions drop in here. Oh, we are running short of time though. Apologies to anyone whose question we haven't got to. Hopefully we'll follow up after the webinar directly if we've not got to your question. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Any closing remarks from you guys?
No, only that I hope that this meets kind of what you're expecting from us in terms of what we have delivered and what we're planning to deliver. We're always open to suggestions in terms of working on our product roadmap, and we intend to do these, as we said, I think at the start of the year, we intend to do them more often than we did maybe last year. So there'll be more opportunities for you to see what we're up to and try and influence what we're up to next.
Great. All right. Well, thanks very much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks.